Why do the noble fail while the cunning rise? Why do those who play fair end up forgotten, while those who bend the rules shape the world? Today, we do not merely answer a question, we expose a truth that society tries to hide. This lesson is not for the timid. It is for those who seek power, influence, control. Those who wish to win. We explore the teachings of Niccolò Machiavelli, the strategist who understood rulers, armies, and the fragile hearts of men. The problem we solve today: how can one survive and triumph in a world where fairness is an illusion? Many people speak of morality as though it is the highest virtue one can possess. They say, be good, be fair, be honest, do what is right. They preach this as though the world rewards goodness by default, but look closely at the world as it truly is, not as stories and teachers have tried to paint it. Look at the rulers of history, the business giants of today, the generals who led armies, the kings who built empires, the politicians who command nations. Notice something very simple. Those who rose to power did not do so by being good. They did so by being effective. Goodness is praised, yes, but it is not rewarded. Understand this clearly. Morality is a luxury, something one can afford only after they have secured their power, their place, their influence. Only the strong can afford to be merciful. Only the safe can afford to be generous. Only the victorious can afford to be virtuous. The weak can preach goodness all they like. It does not change their position in the hierarchy of power. Imagine a man surrounded by wolves. He may speak of peace, kindness, coexistence. But the wolves do not negotiate. They recognize only one language: force. If he refuses to defend himself because he wishes to remain good, he will become their meal. His goodness will not save him, it will destroy him. And afterward, no one will tell stories of his virtue. They will only say, he was weak, and the world consumed him. Machiavelli recognized that morality, when used without strategy, is not a virtue but a trap. Society loves to tell people to do the right thing because society needs obedient followers. Workers who do not question, citizens who comply, students who do not challenge their instructors, soldiers who do not question commands. The idea of morality is used to tame people, to make them predictable, to make them manageable, to keep them harmless. But the one who seeks power must break this conditioning. This does not mean becoming cruel for the sake of cruelty, that is foolish and self-destructive. No. What must be understood is that strict morality is a disadvantage in competitive environments. If you refuse to do what must be done when the moment demands it, someone else will, and the reward you sought will go to them. Your hesitation becomes their opportunity. Listen closely. The world is not fair. It has never been fair. The one who works the hardest does not always win. The one who is the most deserving does not always triumph. History remembers those who succeed, not those who merely sought to play by the rules. Most people cling to morality because it provides them emotional comfort. It allows them to believe they are good, even when they are powerless. It gives them identity when they lack achievement. It becomes a mask to hide insecurity. But those who aim for greatness must let go of this softness. They must understand morality for what it is. A tool, not a law of nature. Use morality when it benefits you, when it earns trust, when it calms suspicion, when it wins loyalty. But do not chain yourself to it. If your opponents use deception, you must be willing to outmaneuver them. If your rivals use manipulation, you must be willing to see through them and respond with strategy. If your enemies strike, you must be capable of striking harder, faster, without hesitation. The world does not honor restraint. It honors results. Consider the leaders who have shaped nations. They are remembered as noble, wise, heroic. But look beneath the surface. You will find decisions that were ruthless, actions taken in the shadows, calculations made with cold logic, not emotion. They understood something crucial. Morality is what the public sees. Strategy is what happens behind the curtain. A ruler cannot be purely moral, because a ruler must make decisions that affect thousands. A business leader cannot be purely moral, because competitors will exploit any sign of weakness. A person seeking influence cannot be purely moral, because influence is built on perception, control, and advantage. This truth is uncomfortable, which is why so many reject it. They want to believe that the world rewards fairness. They want to believe that kindness alone will open doors. They want to believe that, if they simply follow the rules, success will naturally arrive. But belief is not reality. Desire is not strategy. Hope is not power. Morality has its place, but its place is strategic. When you are observed, be moral. When you are judged, be moral. When loyalty must be earned or unity maintained, be moral. But when you face threats, when your position is endangered, when an opportunity appears that may never return, then morality must bend to necessity. Power demands adaptability. The world does not punish the one who acts with resolve. It punishes the one who hesitates. You must learn to see morality not as a chain, but as a garment, something you can wear when needed and remove when it restricts movement. Those who wear it permanently are admired, but only from below. There is a common misconception that people in power are either cruel tyrants or noble heroes. But reality is far more complex. The most effective leaders, the most successful individuals, the ones who shape nations and influence masses, are those who understand balance. They know when to be kind and when to be ruthless. They know when to extend a hand and when to strike. They understand that virtue is a performance and vice is a tool. And just like any skilled craftsman, they choose the correct tool for the correct moment. Machiavelli taught that it is not necessary to be truly virtuous. It is only necessary to appear virtuous, because most people judge from what they see, not from what is hidden. They believe the surface, they trust the display, and they rarely look deeper. So the wise leader presents a mask of honor, generosity, and fairness. This earns loyalty, trust, admiration, and sometimes love. But behind this mask, he keeps another face, one that is sharp, calculating, and unafraid of decisive action. Let us be clear, acting virtuous all the time is not strategy, it is vulnerability. It exposes you, it places you at the mercy of others who do not share your restraint. If you always show kindness, you will be taken advantage of. If you always show forgiveness, you will be disrespected. If you always play fair, you will lose to those who do not. Yet being openly cruel or openly selfish is equally foolish. That invites resistance, rebellion, and hatred. So one must create duality. The lion must be visible. The fox must be hidden. To the public, you present yourself as a person of integrity. You speak of fairness. You promise stability. You praise loyalty and reward service. People want to believe in goodness, so they will believe you. They will see your virtue and reflect it back in admiration. But when a threat arises, when someone attempts to undermine you, betray you, or challenge your position, your response must be immediate and without hesitation. It does not need to be dramatic. It does not need to be visible. It only needs to be decisive and irreversible. A rival spreads rumors to weaken you. You do not argue with him publicly like a desperate man defending his pride. You quietly remove his influence. You isolate him socially. You cut his support. Then you let the world believe he simply failed due to his own weakness. That is Machiavellian power. You do not fight battles directly when they can be won indirectly. And this is why appearing virtuous matters. When you act with severity, people will justify it on your behalf if they already perceived you as good. They will say you were forced. They will say it was necessary. They will defend you to protect their belief in you. The public does half of your work simply because they trust the image you have constructed. But if you act with vice openly, without restraint, people will turn against you. They will fear you, yes, but fear without respect decays into rebellion. Machiavelli understood this distinction. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. But it is best to be feared quietly and loved publicly. This dual presence is the essence of strategy. You must cultivate a reputation that shields your methods. Reputation is armor. It protects even the harshest decisions. A good reputation allows you to act with strength, while others explain your actions for you. So how does one achieve this balance? By mastering the art of timing. When times are stable, when there are no threats, when your position is secure, that is when you show mercy. Mercy is not simply kindness, it is investment. Every gentle act deposits trust. Every generous action builds loyalty. Every public gesture of virtue strengthens your mask. But when danger appears, when harm approaches your gates, when hesitation could cost everything, then you act with cold efficiency. Most people fail because they reverse this order. They are harsh when they should be patient. They are soft when they should be steel. They confuse emotion with strategy. They allow guilt to weaken their resolve. They let fear of judgment determine their actions. And in doing so, they lose everything they tried to protect. The leader must detach from emotional impulse. Action must be guided by outcome, not sentiment. You do not punish for personal anger. You punish to prevent future threats. You do not reward because you like someone. You reward because loyalty is useful. Every move is calculated, measured, purposeful. Do not misunderstand. This is not hypocrisy. This is mastery of presentation. A sword is not any less sharp because it is stored in a decorated sheath. The sheath is what allows the blade to remain concealed until the moment it is required. So learn to speak with grace. Learn to listen with patience. Learn to smile with sincerity. Let people trust in your character. Let them believe they understand you. Let them feel safe in your presence. But always keep your strategy behind your eyes, untouched, unseen, unspoken. Virtue is the language of the crowd. Vice is the language of survival. The wisest learn to be fluent in both. There is a truth so powerful, so simple, and so often ignored that it separates those who rise from those who remain forever ordinary. Human nature does not change. Centuries pass, empires rise and collapse, technology evolves, languages shift, cultures transform. Yet at the core, humans today feel, think, desire, fear, envy, and dream, just as they did 1,000 years ago. The same passions that moved kings to war now move men to argument. The same insecurity that sparked revolutions now fuels online. People believe themselves complicated, but they are not. They are remarkably predictable. And the one who understands this can shape outcomes, control environments, and influence decisions without ever raising their voice. People like to think they act from reason. They tell themselves they are logical, measured, thoughtful, but watch closely. Their choices are rarely born from logic. They are born from emotion. They follow what makes them feel secure. They chase what makes them feel admired. They avoid what makes them afraid. They deny what threatens their pride, and they are not aware of any of this. They move like ships guided by currents they cannot see, believing they are steering themselves. Machiavelli understood that the one who wishes to lead must learn to read these currents. He must learn to see what others hide even from themselves. And once you understand what drives people, you gain an extraordinary advantage. You cease to be surprised. When someone betrays you, you saw the signs in their insecurity long before. When someone flatters you, you understand the motive behind the sweetness. When someone challenges you, you recognize the hunger for validation concealed behind their words. Human nature is a script, and most people are just following their lines. Consider how quickly crowds form and dissolve. A single rumor can cause panic. A single charismatic voice can start a movement. A single public humiliation can destroy a reputation. People do not act individually, though they believe they do. They act in patterns, influenced by their need to belong. They follow confidence because confidence makes them feel safe. They follow authority because authority promises direction. They follow success because success validates their own desires. This is why power does not always belong to the strongest, but to the one who appears most certain. The leader is the one who convinces others that he already knows the path. The people follow because uncertainty terrifies them. They want someone to remove the burden of thinking, of deciding, of risking. They want to hand over their responsibility to a figure who seems unshaken. So, the one who understands human nature does not need to dominate through force. He only needs to display unwavering conviction, and the crowd will yield on its own. But do not mistake predictability for simplicity. Human nature is layered, yes, but the layers are consistent. At the deepest level lies fear. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of insignificance. Beneath every argument, every rivalry, every envy, there is fear. And those who claim to fear nothing are the most frightened of all, because they have built their entire identity on appearing unbreakable. If you want to understand a person, find what they fear. If you want to influence a person, determine how that fear shapes their decisions. After fear, the next driving force is desire. People desire recognition. They desire to matter. They desire to be chosen, to be remembered, to be valued. They want the world to look at them and say, "You are important." Those who understand this can gain loyalty easily. Praise someone and they will feel alive. Make them feel seen and they will believe you are different from everyone else. Give them a purpose and they will give you devotion. But always remember, the same desire that earns you loyalty can also be used by others to steal it. So you must protect the loyalty you cultivate by ensuring that you remain the most meaningful source of validation in their lives. And then there is pride. Pride is the engine of nearly every conflict. Pride blinds judgment. Pride fuels competition. Pride makes enemies where there were none. If you threaten someone's pride, they will act against you even to their own harm, simply to preserve the image they hold of themselves. So the wise do not crush pride unnecessarily. They redirect it. They allow others to feel as though their victories are their own idea, even when those victories serve your strategy. They let others take credit when the credit costs nothing. They guide without forcing. They influence without displaying dominance. Because to openly dominate is to provoke resistance, but to guide quietly is to control effortlessly. And finally, understand this. People rarely change. They may mature, they may learn, they may adapt, but their core remains constant. The one who was insecure at 20 will be insecure at 60. The one who craves admiration in youth will chase applause in old age. The one who envies now will envy forever. So do not waste energy trying to transform others. Use who they are. Work with their nature, not against it. It is easier to guide water along a channel than to stop a river from flowing. Influence is not force. Influence is understanding the direction in which a person is already inclined to move and simply guiding that movement where you need it to go. To understand human nature is to possess a kind of quiet power. You no longer react, you respond, you no longer take things personally. See the pattern behind them. You no longer fight blindly. You choose your battles with precision. And you no longer expect fairness, honesty, or rationality. You expect people to act as they always have, as they always will. Power does not begin with strength. It does not begin with wealth. It does not even begin with intelligence. Power begins with reputation, with what others believe you are. Before a man speaks, before he acts, before he stands in the room, his reputation has already arrived. It has already influenced perception, shaped expectation, and either opened doors or sealed them shut. Reputation is not simply what people say about you. It is the lens through which everything you do is interpreted. And this is why those who understand power guard their reputation with more vigilance than they guard their possessions. Most people live reactively. Their reputations form accidentally, shaped by circumstance and the opinions of others. They do not control their narrative. They simply accept whatever identity the world assigns to them. And because they do not shape how they are perceived, they remain powerless. They spend their lives explaining themselves, defending themselves, trying to convince others of their worth. But those who understand strategy never defend who they are. They decide who they are. They craft who they are. They build their reputation with intent, piece by piece, gesture by gesture, word by word. Machiavelli understood that reputation is not about truth. It is about belief. It is not important whether you are noble. What matters is whether you are seen as noble. It is not necessary to be fearless. What matters is whether others believe you are unshaken. People do not follow reality, they follow perception. They do not judge by depth, they judge by surface. This is not cynicism, this is observation of human nature. People are too busy, too distracted, too concerned with their own lives to look closely. They rely on impressions, they rely on emotional conclusions. And those who hold power understand how to feed those impressions deliberately. There are two sides to reputation: the side you show in public and the side you hide in the shadows. In public, your reputation must inspire confidence, trust, and authority. It must give people a reason to listen, to follow, to believe. This is the face of virtue, discipline, wisdom, restraint. The world must see stability when they look at you. They must see certainty. They must see control. If they see doubt, they will doubt you. If they see insecurity, they will question you. If they see chaos, they will avoid you. People search for anchors in a world of uncertainty. Your reputation must make you appear as that anchor. But in the hidden sphere, in private strategy, in conflict, in negotiation, your reputation must work differently. It must spread quietly that you are not someone to challenge lightly, that you are capable of response. That betrayal will not go unanswered. That disrespect will not be forgotten. This does not require loudness. The loudest threats are the weakest. The silent ones carry weight. Reputation, when used correctly, becomes protection. People will think twice before crossing someone whose consequences are whispered about. A single calculated response to a single act of disrespect can echo long enough to prevent 10 future challenges. This is why the wise do not react emotionally. They understand that every action, every reply, every move contributes to the identity they are constructing. If someone insults you publicly, you do not rush to argue or defend yourself. Defense is the position of the weak. You wait, you choose your timing, and when you act in a way that is decisive enough to remind others that your silence was not weakness, it was patience. People remember the one who acts with precision more than the one who reacts with impulse, and reputation extends beyond the battlefield of personal conflict. It influences alliances, opportunities, influence. When others believe you are dependable, they offer you access. When they believe you are capable, they come to you for solutions. When they believe you are confident, they defer to your judgment. Reputation turns effort into efficiency. It does the work for you. You do not have to prove yourself at every moment. Your reputation moves ahead of you and prepares the ground. But reputation is fragile. It can be lost faster than it was built. The mistake most people make is trying to please everyone in order to maintain a good image. When you try to please everyone, you become nothing. You appear uncertain, pliable, shapeless. A strong reputation requires clarity. You must decide what identity you embody and remain consistent in it. If you want to be respected, act in ways that command respect. If you want to be seen as disciplined, show restraint. If you want to be seen as capable, speak only when your words add value. If you want to be seen as someone who cannot be manipulated, stop seeking approval. There will always be those who misunderstand you, those who envy, those who speak against you. This is inevitable. The wise do not chase every rumor. They do not attempt to correct every misperception. They allow their actions to speak over time. A reputation built on consistent behavior is not easily shaken. And when necessary, they allow small misconceptions to exist, because sometimes being slightly underestimated is a strategic advantage. When others do not know the full extent of your capability, they cannot predict your moves. Reputation is not about being perfect. It is about being intentional. It is about shaping the story others tell about you, not through words, but through controlled patterns of action. It is about deciding what you represent and ensuring your behavior reinforces it. And once a reputation becomes established, it becomes momentum. It opens paths that effort alone cannot. It makes people treat you differently before you have said a word. It grants advantage without exertion. It lets you win battles without stepping onto the field. There is a phrase that many fear to speak aloud, though they live by it in silence. What matters is the outcome, not the struggle, not the intention, not the purity of effort. The world remembers those who succeed, not the path they took to arrive at their victory. This is the core of Machiavelli's teaching, that success is what defines morality. A good outcome is called good because it triumphs. A failed attempt, no matter how noble, is forgotten or mocked. The one who wins writes the story. The one who loses becomes a lesson, or worse, nothing at all. People are taught from childhood to focus on being good rather than being effective. They are raised on tales where honesty is always rewarded, where the innocent always prevail, where virtue triumphs over wickedness. These are comforting stories, and stories are all they are. Look at history, look at politics, look at business. Look at the hidden negotiations that shape the fate of nations. It is not the most moral person who rises, it is the one with the strongest strategy, the unwavering will, the ability to make hard decisions when others hesitate. Most individuals fail because they want to win and be seen as pure. They want power and universal approval. They want achievement without the discomfort of sacrifice. They believe they can reach the summit without dirtying their hands. But the summit has no clean path. It is steep, uneven, jagged, demanding. And at every step, someone else wants the same position you want. If you are not prepared to do what others will not, you will remain where others remain. Machiavelli did not say to be cruel for the sake of cruelty. He did not say to disregard morality entirely. He said something more subtle. Do not allow morality to stop you when necessity calls for strength. Morality is a tool, but it is not the goal. The goal is victory, stability, power, legacy, the preservation of what you care for. If achieving that requires difficult choices, then those choices must be made. People may whisper, they may question, they may disapprove, until you succeed. And once you succeed, those same critics will speak of your wisdom, your vision, your strength. Success silences judgment. Consider a leader who refuses to remove a disloyal advisor out of kindness. He spares feelings to maintain his image of moral purity. The advisor later betrays him, weakens his authority, fractures his alliances, and the entire structure falls. the leader loses everything because he hesitated to act. History will not praise his compassion. It will not say, "He was good." It will say, "He failed." Another leader sees the same threat. He recognizes the danger. He acts swiftly, quietly. He protects his rule, his people, his stability. His action may seem harsh, but his result preserves order. History will call him strong. People will call him wise. He will be remembered not for the severity of his actions, but for the endurance of the world he safeguarded. This is what is meant by the ends justify the means. If the ending is just, if it ensures survival, stability, prosperity, then the methods used to achieve it are justified by necessity. People pretend to care about methods, but they care about results. They admire success, they envy power, they worship authority, and they criticize only when there is weakness to exploit. The one who succeeds becomes the standard, the one who fails becomes the warning. Morality is flexible in the eyes of the public. If someone rises to greatness, their questionable actions are reinterpreted as strategy. If someone fails, even their purest intentions are dismissed as foolishness. This is why you must not seek to be righteous in the moment. You must seek to be victorious in the end. There will be moments in your ascent where hesitation will whisper to you, where doubt will try to slow your hand, where concern for appearances will pull you away from decisive action. These moments are the difference between the conqueror and the conquered. The one who pauses loses momentum. The one who waits for approval loses opportunity. The world does not pause for your principles. It moves with or without you. To act with purpose is not the same as acting with cruelty. To calculate is not the same as to harm without reason. There is a difference between necessary severity and pointless aggression. The wise do not act from rage or spite or impulse. They act from clarity. They see the path to the outcome, and they remove what blocks it. No more, no less. The one who leads must understand that responsibility often requires actions that comfort cannot allow. To protect your future, you may have to be misinterpreted today. To build something lasting, you may have to break something temporary. To secure loyalty, you may have to show strength that is misunderstood by the weak. In the end, history does not ask how softly you stepped. It asks whether you reached your destination. You have now seen the world not as it is spoken about, but as it truly is. A place where morality without strategy becomes surrender, where virtue is a mask worn with intention, where human nature follows patterns that can be read, influenced, and directed, where reputation walks ahead of you, shaping destinies before words are spoken, and where victory, not intention, determines how history remembers your name. Understand this. Power does not come to those who wait for fairness. It comes to those who observe, who calculate, who act when others hesitate. The world is moved by those who do what must be done, not merely what looks righteous. The noble fall when they refuse to adapt. The strong rise when they refuse to apologize for necessity. Do good where good strengthens you. Show mercy where mercy builds loyalty. But when the moment demands resolve, do not flinch. The one who wins shapes the story. The one who shapes the story shapes the world.